are really nice. We run them on just about every truck that we can that's been LS swapped. A lot of trucks like the early Chevys, 47 to 53, C10s, all the C10s, these trucks. Whenever they got the cab with the tank inside, behind the seat, we try to pull out that tank. This is what we're replacing with. This one here. So we got Aeromotive in here, and I believe this is the 400 LPH pump. It's a big boy. It's good for 1,000+ horsepower. It's also got a rollover vent, sending unit, tank vent, and obviously the filler. This particular one, it's got the thread on here, but we got plans to change that. Got some instructions, so let's drop this in there, see how it sits. Rails, that's a plus. Obviously, got to drill some holes. Tank sits in there pretty good. One of the things I was looking at was clearance. The tire is aired out essentially all the way up, and you can see how much higher that tank sits. That's a good thing. And here we're gonna have the raised bed floor anyway, so we got quite a bit of room up here already. So that'll give us room to put air tanks and stuff like that in there, or whatever we choose to do. But also don't have to worry about taking out the bottom of it, so that's a plus. So I got the tank in this way, and you can mount it on the bottom side of the frame rails too. I'm trying to keep it up as high as I can to get it out of the way. So the tank has this angle on it, which is kind of like a departure angle when you're going off of curbs and you don't smash it. But everything I've seen online and other people with these tanks, they got them flipped around the other way. So maybe there's something to that. I don't know. But what that'll do is gain us a little bit of space up front to mount stuff in that area. So I'm gonna spin it around, take a look, and see what I see. I don't know if this is right or not. All right. So, still not sure positioning wise if I want it forward or back, but I feel like forward is good. Then I have access to these bumper brackets here. Also the bed mounts back here, that could have issues, so. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, it works. All my lines are on this side, so plumbing wise, it's kind of changes things. I gotta run it over this side instead of running it down, which I guess I could still run it down. I don't know. But this does open up this area quite a bit, so maybe what I should do is grab one of the tanks I have. I can play with that. Granted, all this stuff here is still loose. So we are an airlift dealer, Airlift Performance. Of course, we're going to use their stuff. This here is a flow tank. This is an upgraded air tank, essentially, storage. But pretty fancy. So it's got built-in ports on the side here. You can clock it, you can set it up the way you want, which is a little nicer rather than having your standard ports like in the middle of the tank. So let's get it out of the box here, get my grubby hands all over it. Get out of there. So yeah, just a pretty basic, plain, nothing tank. But the ends, they have a built-in pressure valve here. And then of course they have your pipe threads on the end. So I got 1, 2, and then this end here, there's 3 of them here. So you can link them together, you can tie in your compressors, water traps, all that business. So yeah. And all these little holes right here, this is for some brackets, which I'll show you right now. So these guys, they come with it. Part number if you need it. not hard to find. I'm gonna open these up over here so I don't lose everything. Kind of. Just gonna throw these brackets on. Nice little pieces, actually. So, I would just start by mounting it square. Pretty straightforward. See all the adjustment on this thing. You can roll this any way you want. Maybe that's why they're so adjustable. The flow is level on the other side, but not on this side. All right, so we got 2 of these tanks. These here, I believe they're about 3 gallons a piece, so 6 total. And that should be plenty of storage to fill the bags. You know, get a little bit of use out of them. I don't plan on hopping this thing, so I don't need a ton of volume. But see what's going on. It looks nice, nice and clean. This center section through here, I think the plan is we'll probably end up painting it, and then the end caps, polishing them, or leaving them. I don't know, probably polishing them. With what the plans are for this chassis, I think that'll look good. But like a lot of things, they just kind of evolve as we go. I'm gonna set this in the truck and see where the fitment's gonna be. So the one thing I do kind of wish these tanks had was a drain valve, but since don't really know what orientation they're going to be, kind of defeats the purpose of putting one in. All right, so that fits right between the rail, which is kind of good. You can build tabs off the rail there to hold it. I'm going to grab a couple towels so I don't scratch up stuff. It's kind of a popular configuration, that's why I'm doing it like this. Just it's the first thing that came to my mind. But on these trucks, there's actually quite a bit of room everywhere, so we can fit it anywhere we want, really. Just playing with some ideas. I think what I'm going to do is assemble the other tank. Set that on here. See, the top tank kind of falls right in line with the weld or the edge of the frame. So it's gonna make it difficult for punching holes, but all right, went with the highly tipsy double cardboard method here. So we got 2 pieces down here, 2 here, gives us a little bit of a buffer, and still plenty of room behind there. Of course, trying to stack 2 round things, that always goes good. Be fine. But height wise, I think we'll be good. They're gonna have a 90s coming off of here, so we gotta have room for the hard lines to clear under the bed, of course, too. Sometimes you just have to play around with some designs, but I'm kind of liking this flow here. Keeps it nice and tight, kind of carries through. I did move the tank back a little bit, which I don't think is going to be any problems. Still got plenty of room for the bed to drop down on here. Can't really see it, but these guys right here, that's what drops through there. That keeps it nice and well below deck height. What that allows me to do is if I wanted to mount the air management system right here, then I can plumb down, come around and tie into these things. So yeah, kind of feeling that. What do you guys think? Comment below. You have some different ideas? I've searched the interwebs as well. A lot of different ways to do things. That's gonna end tonight's after hours segment. And we'll tune in with you guys tomorrow. We'll see where Devin's at on this. The front here tomorrow morning, I'll probably throw the hood on it, make sure the turbo clears. I know we touched on that already, but aye! That was my hood. It's fine. Adds to the patina. Played with this here, got rid of the angle piece. Still kind of wish that this guy was not in the middle of all this right here, because it's kind of taking up space where the AC pump would be. You know, maybe we're not running AC on this guy, at least not yet. Could put, what are those? Camaro Corvette style lower mount setup, but they don't make them with this pulley configuration, so we'd have to get creative with the brackets and all that. But if we really wanted it, we can make it. We got some little spacers here. We added down here on the frame rail. I know it's kind of hard to tell. Take my word for it. They're there. Lower mounts for that. So we plased out some 1/4-inch plates, welded them to the frame rail, drilled and tapped straight through. We used the, it's actually called the Apache die right there. And it matches the dash stampings for like the radio knob, cigarette lighter, all that stuff, and the original dash on this rig. So that's kind of cool. We'll be seeing more of that stamping throughout the rig. They're just a nice little finish for hardware and stuff.
Eric's Apache. I keep switching everything up. I think this is the final mounting spots for the tanks and the manifold. I kind of got a good game plan going, so I'm gonna rebuild this one. I'm gonna extend it up about 3/4 of an inch, and that'll make these sit where they are. It's all mocked up right now. Extend this out so it's kind of covering, and there'll be a nice little probably 1/4 or 1/2 inch gap in between the tank and the plate, which will give us room to throw our logo right here, and then I can throw these bad boys in there. So so these guys, I'm gonna drill a bunch of holes and we'll stick those in there. He wants to run stainless air lines, so you're running a bunch of lines coming down nice and straight. They'll go in here and then they can disperse and go to the bags and all of that. So
getting started on some hard lining. I got a bunch of hard lining to do, and it is nerve-wracking. We got this dual tank set up here, and these have NTP threaded ports in them instead of the push-in style or the other style. You can do either or. Because we're doing hard lining, I got these NTP -6 fittings. So thread these things in here, see if I can do this left-handed. Come on. There we go. So these, and then we put some bulkheads, built this little bracket here to hold the tanks and everything. We're gonna run these down to these. We spread them out. So these are 90s right here. Kind of hard to see. 90 bulkhead fittings. That way on the bottom side, there's a couple lines in there that will crisscross each other just because of the way that this valve block is laid out. I'm gonna start mapping this thing out and start bending some lines. I'll start with the easy ones and see how the flaring goes. Again, we're using all stainless. It is pre-annealed, but it is still a pain to work with. So, and we want it to be look right, and we want it to be nice. So I bent up a line here that, you know, it's yay long, and I actually flared this end of it here. So this is a single flare that I used. This little rigid flare right there works really well. And then we got the bender, cutter. Stainless is still a pain to do, but start off like this. So I like to clean the ends really good and then do a single flare. And then what will happen is we will put that tubing nut on. Let's see if I can do this one-handed here. Okay. So that'll sit around there. Sorry. So it seats in there. And then the tubing nut. Slides right over the top of that. Right over the top. And then we got your threaded with the flare. Not sure why I did all this left-handed, but all right, so we got here, we're gonna go to this port right here, which happens to be the right rear, down to here, and then from there, we'll go to the bags and all that stuff. So, but I just wanna get this part situated first, since it's right there, easy to get to, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna finish putting these NTP fittings in here. I'm not gonna crank them down, I'm just gonna snug them up. And then I have a connection point here. And then all these are just kind of set up already, but they'll just be a -6 fitting set up for a 3/8. So yeah, let's get these threaded in there and then we can start building. this one right here is the one we're gonna bend to. And I know it's kind of hard to tell, but this is a little out of alignment, so it needs to go that way and then make a nice tight 90. So that'll be fun. Man, that's a bummer. I got this thing all bent up to put it on there, but this very last little bit split it. So I gotta start over again. All right, guys, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This was a pain in the butt for me. Cut, filed. This is, I think, the third one, and this is the easiest one on here probably. But I simplified it. I was trying to get fancy and kick it over because it is slightly off, but I think it's close enough. It should work out just fine. But yeah, just creeping up on it. Had to put it on, try to put it on. It wouldn't work. Shorten it up a little bit. So basically, now that this is on here, I could probably gently massage it around just a little bit. What I'm gonna do is, before I put this on for real, I need to make 2 of them. So I'm gonna copy this one exactly. Hopefully it doesn't split. That was my other issue, is either splitting or yeah, the bend just wasn't right. So pretty frustrating, but I think when it's done, it'll be cool. It'll be worth it, I hope. I got that line on there. Do a little bit of tweaking. Now I need to mirror it to the other side. Go from there. I got another line done. So these, now I got the outside. You can kind of see where I'm going. And these are a little tricky. So I'm gonna keep at it here for a little bit longer. I got a little time tonight, so I'm gonna keep plugging away while my head's in it. And let's do this last one. I realized that I haven't been filming. It's like somebody's watching me. Done a lot of hard lines before, but for some reason, this one is fighting me. So I got the outside ones already bent up, obviously. So this rigid clamp I've been using for years. Had this thing around, just does the job. One thing I realized too, we stuff this too far in. Usually you want to flush them out. But with this stainless, I do just shy of it, and it seems to keep it from splitting. And there's still enough flare on it for it to seat. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but anyway, probably not. Anyway, I turn this in slow, kind of working it around, forward, backwards. This spindle inside here that does the coning, the 36-degree cone, it oscillates, so it kind of works and stretches the metal out as it goes around. It's not just a wedge, if that makes any sense at all. If you get one of these, you'll see what I'm talking about. So try not to force it too much. Work it around. And also, obviously, make sure the inside's clean. File it all out. See what we got here. Seats in there, and knock on wood, I haven't forgotten one of these yet. You can kind of see it's not buried in there, or it's not flush, but it's not all the way down in there. You need a little bit poking through there for the flare. Yeah, worked. Run this in. You'll feel it start to get kind of snug, and then you just kind of ease it around, kind of by feel. This thing also has kind of a breakaway on it, on the handle. If it starts torquing too hard, it'll pop loose, which is good. Helps. All right, you can hear this thing kind of pop loose here. Yeah, right there. Not sure how it knows, but it knows. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Ah! Oh, look, backwards, idiot. Oh, that's what I get for talking. Well, this is embarrassing. That was a good flare too. Dang it. Well, I'm gonna try knocking this down and reflaring it again. I'll lose a little bit on there, like not even an eighth, 16th. Hopefully it won't be noticeable. What an idiot. That's actually kind of funny. Act like you didn't see that. All right, so pretty symmetrical. The only thing I notice is like right here, this length here is a little bit different if you're looking straight on. It's like this one and this one are kind of long. So what I can do on these is grind that flare off, reflare it, and that'll pull it in just about enough. That's gonna do it for tonight. There'll be much, much more of this. So stay tuned, stay with me. We're gonna plumb this sucker out. So after the bulkheads on the bottom side, that's when they all go to the important stuff. So we still got to get compressors mounted. We got to build some links for these tanks. They'll go basically link the two into one, basically. And then we can route the bottom side of these where they need to go. We got 4 corners. We got an exhaust, and then we got a fill port coming off one of the tanks. So yeah, 4 bags, exhaust, fill. Pretty straightforward. This time we're working on turbo exhaust. We got all the intake side and the hot side off the exhaust to the turbo. All that's done. I've already jumped on it here, and we got this V-band here coming off the Precision Turbo. We had a little dip there, and then I got it mocked up right now for this tail section to clear the frame and everything else around it. So I think it'll fit, and then once it gets under the cab and to the back, we can go from there on that. So I want to get all this stuff done firewall forward so that we can take off all this sheet metal here and yeah, finish it out. I also want to build some kind of cover for this. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but for today, I'm going to work on the exhaust. Let's get that done. Normally, it'd be nice to bring the TIG welder over here, but I'm just going to take this over there to the table. We'll get this welded on. Actually, I'll probably just tack it for now in case we need to move it again, and then figure out the bottom half there. Also picked up these guys here, which is kind of odd that the wastegate doesn't have these, so they bolt on the front down here, and that's going to be really tight kicking that over to this, so that'll be interesting. It's kind of a bummer it's not like on a V-band or something to be able to turn it, aim it, but I do have these, and then a bunch of these Vibrant 45s here, so I'm hoping I can whittle that down and snake that through here. We'll just tie it into this exhaust here. So yep, that's that. I'm going to pull this off, and actually I think it's just on there by hand. The back of the Turbo Smart's kind of an odd size. It's like 3 5/8. So I have a 3 5/8 V-band adapter coming off the back, going down to a 3 1/2. So running 3 1/2 all the way out for now. but we got this fit up, so we'll get this thing tacked and then fit back, and then we'll set it back in here. All right, guys, got this one kind of mocked up. I had to pull it around there and to get it tacked again because it was pulling apart. But I'm gonna finish welding this one out. Let's do it. Keep rotating this thing around and chase it around. Was just going to tack it, but I'm happy with where it was sitting before. Worst case scenario, just completely redo it. No big deal. Clamp this thing. Cool for a long time, and clean up this edge right here where that was welded. Slam this back in there, and then we'll figure out the rest of the tube. I'm thinking another 45 will get us down the toe board and under the cab. We'll have to slide underneath there and figure it out, but yep, coffee. Yep, cool down a little bit, slide this sucker in there. Watch out for those valve covers. Coil pack covers. If you guys haven't checked it out, we got a little video here on these Wagner Motorsports coil pack covers. Custom engraved. Those guys are awesome. But the coil pack covers are just a small portion of what they do. We've run their pulley kits on things as well. This one here is not one of theirs, but they do full motors, all that stuff. So yeah, check them out. Legner Motorsports, they're awesome. All right, kind of got this thing aimed where I want it, keeping distance from the coil pack covers and shooting it straight down through the header, through the block and toe board. So I wanted to keep it far enough away from the toe board too, or it's not going to get smoking hot down there. You guys can see we're running down here and then go right between the toe board and frame and valve cover there. We should have a pretty open area right there. Should be plenty of room to work. I'm going to grab some tubing and we'll slide underneath there and see what we got to work with. Decent working height to get around. So I'm gonna set the locks on this thing. Took my ramp with it. All right, we're gonna get this thing set up and we'll slide underneath there. All right, got my two pieces cut here. It's kind of weird. They're at two different angles. Not angles, but lengths. But I think that should work. So what we're going for is like a 2-inch offset, I believe is what we said. I'm actually kind of shocked. We're almost 2 inches exact. And you witnessed it. Miracles do happen. And my line just carried straight through. So it ended up being about a 30-degree angle because it was taking into account the rest of these for whatever that means. However, this pipe, it's not the roundest where they mandrel bend it. You can kind of see it's got some weird spots in it. So I'm gonna try working these out a little bit. This one here is kind of oval. I mean, it's weldable. I can burn that in. I'm actually super stoked on this. The last piece gate was really killing me. So it's nice to have some success. On one of these ends here, I'm gonna have to put a V-band on it and then I can feed it through the frame. I also need to see if I can fit the other end of the V-band through the frame, because that would be a real bummer to have this piece stuck in there if I ever need to take it out. Also, sorry for cutting my head off in that other video. Took a little glance at it and I was like, that's cool. V-band on, extension on. Go feed this through the frame. See how we're looking. Should be interesting. I don't know how direct or how straight this is in relation. There's actually 2 sections that needs to go through, so we'll find out. Let's get after it. All right, so going way up there from the precision down V-band, which I'll clock, don't worry. And then going through here, exiting out there, and then beyond. So the back half, that'll be interesting because we're talking about putting dual exhaust on this thing. So obviously it's only single. I don't like the look of single, and I'm an idiot. Making more work. But what we're talking about doing is a little sneak peek. If you made it this far, then you deserve to have the sneak peek on it. Basically, we're gonna go back, kick it up, go to like a ram horn, and then split off to the duals. And they'll come out the quarters right in front of the rear tires. So we have some cool bezels from Stainless Works. We used a lot of their Stainless Works stuff on the Sierra build, the little tool drive, or 4-wheel drive, I guess, regular cab truck. Good stuff. I need to open up that hole, obviously, get the V-band through. If I decide to put a V-band on that side, which I think would be smart, I could always just let this piece chill. No, I can't. What am I talking about? I'm gonna open that up. We'll get the V-band on there, but for the love, that's gonna be it for tonight.
Hello, working on the Apache today. I helped Eric out. I wrapped this up. So I welded all of this in a crossover so we can run dual exhaust. And it sits just above the rockers, which is perfect. Don't want to be rubbing that off. So I got that tacked up in there and then welded it yesterday. So all we're left with is the cutouts. We're probably gonna take my little bendy poking stick, do some oval cuts in here, and then plan is to do some side exit out of the bed. So yeah, did that. I measured for a drive line so he can get one of those ordered. And now I am mocking the bed up. Once I get the bed situated, then we can start doing the exhaust again. So it's a lot of squaring up and making sure all the body lines are straight. Yeah, lasering today. Get that thing nice. So
I've been chipping away on the Apache here. Let's see, where do we start? Where we left off, exhaust. I was building all the stainless exhaust underneath, tying it over. The plan is to single turbo, come off, we're gonna Y off, and then go out the side and go dual outs. So in the meantime, Dane buttoned that up, as you guys probably saw earlier. Got all the tubing finished welded and fit on the bottom side of the cab. Kind of hard to see, but basically comes down off the turbo, cuts over the passenger side. I just like the symmetry of having dual exhaust. This one comes up. You can't see it, but it comes out the cross member there. Then we got plans for after that. So we'll tie in with that later. We also have these Stainless Works exhaust cutouts here. Plan is fit them in the bedside though. So probably somewhere like that. I'm thinking, I usually don't like exhaust dump in front of the tire. Just never been my thing, but kind of looks cool. It's easier. We'll see what we got for routing. We got some big tires of stuff underneath there. And with all the Airride and everything else, I don't know if we'll have room to go out the back or out the back quarters. Back here, obviously we got the bed on. That has been the next big segment here, is to get the bed on the chassis, start building mounts, get the inner tubs fit, and so we can start building the floor. Lots of pre-fit, more pre-fit. Let's hop up in there, check it out. Okay, up here, you can see we got the tubs. So right now, this is just mock-up mode right here, but this is where the tubs are gonna sit. So brought them up, we extended them down. Dane's been going to town on that. We have these extensions that kind of follow the body line. Since this side sheet metal here is only single wall, I don't want to weld to it because I don't want to see it on the outside. So we'll put a seal in that upper half and everything else will be fixed. That was the best solution I could do with not welding to the outside body. But I think it'll work. I think it'll be just fine. It's going to tie in with everything else, should be nice and rigid. Also airlift stuff. So reconfigured everything again. And we're not settled on this setup here, but this is our current revision. I think it's number 4. You know, sometimes things just evolve. So we got the dual Viair compressor 45Cs. That's the airlift 3P management setup, couple of flow tanks. Got kind of the fitment that we like. I wanted to keep it kind of down, but also show it. So obviously all this tubing stuff will go away. But what we're doing right now is getting this bed to sit where we like it. It's nice and level with the body. We closed up the gap behind the cab a little bit. It's fitting pretty good. And then we'll build mounts to tie into the frame. And then once this thing's all rigid, then start going to town on the bed floor. I'm excited to get on the woodwork portion of it too. That's gonna be cool. It's hard to do bed floors that are different. And this bed floor, I feel like, will be different. So stay tuned for that. This has been a big part of this project here. As you know, the whole design of the truck and the rendering has all been based around this. So wheels are important, and I think these ones are absolutely perfect. We reached out to our friends at Raceline Billet, and they hooked it up good. Without further ado, let me just show you. Let's quit yakking. Look at these suckers. They are so good. They are too good for this truck. And the lighting doesn't really do it justice. We'll have more on this later, I am sure. Or you guys will see these wheels before this video comes out. So hopefully, it's hard to keep anything a secret, but these things are killer. Let me give you the specs. The rears, 20 by 12s, 3-inch back spacing. The front, these are 20 by 8 with, 20 by 8.5 with a 4-inch back spacing. So, and then we're running the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. Pretty tracky for a truck. But with this staggered setup on here at the tires, and I wanted the tire height, that's huge to me, is make sure that they look right, you know, front to back. You don't have a taller front tire or something weird like that. And make sure the tread matches and all that stuff. These were what was available at the time. So Michelin's are good tires. I'm running them on my little truck as well. Not the Cup ones, but there she is. But yeah, they're Pilot Sports as well. They'll make smoky burnouts. So that's all that really matters. Aside from these wheels, there is more good news from Raceline, but that I'm gonna hold till later. I'll show you guys. Pretty dramatic. Pretty cool. Thank you again, Raceline, and everybody that was involved in making that happen. These things are killer. I can't wait to see it on it. Hey guys, we are back. Another after hours session, and trying to find the motivation here. What I'm gonna work on today is back on where I left off before, which is closing off this radiator support right here. I could just leave it, but I really want to kind of cover up this radiator and just clean it up a little bit. So it's got some weird transitions in it. But I had mocked up a piece of chipboard, good old chipboard here. Basically, here, this is just gonna close this off a little bit here, just kind of finish it off. This will all be welded, so this will be like one gigantic piece here that can lift off, and just simple. You know, I might do some bead roll stuff in it, but realistically, I don't think it's gonna need it. It's, you know, it's got plenty going on right now, so that's where I'm at. I'm going to transfer my cardboard to some sheet metal and cut it out, bend it up, and see where it goes. This has been transferred over here, obviously, from the cardboard, but did a shear break or cut there, shear cut there, and did the ends here on this guy. And what I need to do now is notch out the insides. I got a couple notches there. I have holes for the radiator, holes for the overflow. I got mounting holes. I'm just shaping this metal here, rolling it in around the turbo inlet filter here. So I just got my big heavy steel there and I'm just forming it. So because this corner doesn't have anything in it, a lot of times I'll build a buck, but I was too lazy and this was just one little piece here. So I didn't really want to do that. So I got the worst sheet metal shears I could find. Be right back. Truth be told, I ended up remaking this panel. This panel, I had stretched it too far and it wasn't big enough for the turbo filter. So what do? I wasn't gonna just keep beating on her. Plus, it comes out nice when you do it twice. Got my knockout kit and my dimple die stuff. Don't have the exact sizes I'm after, but I think I can make this work. Up making both these the same size, knocked them both out the same size, so radiator fill maybe a little bigger, that's okay. So I got it sitting back in here, radiator poking up out of there. That is going to be just fantastic. This transitions in the next phase. On this side here, still definitely tight around the reservoir, so I'm going to have to open that up even more. All right, back up in here. Got my panel. Everything is there. Obviously, we got these ends that are holding up right here. So there's a couple different things I can do to make this transition work. Part of me is thinking this little wedge right here, I just cut that out of the way, roll it down, be done. Fortunately, this sits on top of the fender, so that means modifying the fender and all that stuff as well. So what I might do, I just don't like the way it slopes up like that. It's kind of weird. So I'll probably need to break this end to kick it up. Yep, and then fold it back down. Again, break it the other way. This little guy right here, bring it up so it can kick up and then across. I broke this in kind of a wedge shape And then this should be pretty easy to build a transition to. I'm thinking I can even connect those two or whatever. But I'll have to extend this corner up here. I wasn't happy with the first round, so I did it again. I also wasn't happy with that, so I'm working on the third one. We'll get into that in a minute. If you guys haven't seen yet, we got new shirts out. This one's the Apache shirt for this guy. So get yourself one, swing by the office, pick one up. I broke this piece right here, give it some shake. I don't really like it. So I just got done making this, which is a lot cleaner. Just got a nice little simple radius on it. So I can cut in here, weld this to here, and then I can roll this into here. So I'll end up cutting out a bunch of this stuff right here to put in, but that's where we're at so far. Got this end cut off right here. Got this one modified. So this will sit in here like this. I need to trim back this upper panel still. And then I'll probably come around and tack that, and then I can work on getting this formed, figure out where that's gonna land. And then when I got that nailed, I gotta jump the other side and make this side look like that. I'm gonna clamp these two together here. But basically, we'll make one, and then the final trimming on this stuff we'll do after we get it back on the rig, because we may need to do some more shaping. Took this off, trimmed this out, and everything should fit down in there pretty decent. I'm just gonna Cleco this, throw another one back here. I gotta figure out where the holes are. There's some mounting holes underneath it. Get those drilled, and I'll hold this down, and then I'll move to the other side. Throw some Cleco, some hardware in it, and I'll check back in a second. We'll move to the other side. Gotta do a quick little shout out to Dane here. I think it was Christmas or something. He got me a little present here. This chalk shot. I've never used it before. If you have, you know, but it's pretty neat. When you're trying to transfer holes and markings, in this case up through there is a big nut on the bottom there. I can't fit my Sharpie in there to mark on my panel. Stick this guy in it, pull down, does a little chalk shot, just like the name says. Clever. And that basically allows you to transfer little markings. So I got one here, and it's kind of faint, but you can see another one here. So yeah, thought that was kind of cool. Thanks, Dane. Now I got this piece kind of tacked on, just flushed out a little bit. Got the holes, everything's mounted essentially. Once we get it off the table, I just need to just get this squared up, and everything will get tigged on the table, a little easier to work on. I think that's looking pretty good. Obviously we got to do all the finish welding and all that stuff there, but fitment's really good. I'm pretty happy with it. It's nice and clean, simple, helps cover up the radiator and all the other junk in there. So yeah, help complement the Heart Fab inner fenders. And then we got a bunch of bead rolling to do for the firewall. We'll tackle that once we blow this thing apart. But yeah, it's kind of a long video, guys. So if you're still with me, thank you. Thank you for the support. This has been fun. Tune in next time. We'll tackle the back side of this rig here. We got the we got some bed action back there. I've already started in on that. So a bunch of plumbing. We got a lot to do. So till next time, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And tell your buddies. Tell your Apache buddies. Come on over. Check it out. If you like it. You know, if you don't tell them. See you guys.